Happy All Saints Day. True Samhain, right? Rushing home to get with a student here and hoping I can have a shower first. As soon as somebody is here live and wants to play, we're going to look into the Earthstrology of the wHoly Trinity. Sun being one of those three, and the moon another one. And I was just driving the other way into the moon for some time, and in this moment the moon is reflecting sunlight in a very similar way to as it was when I was born. Every 29 and a half days, moon meets the sun, new moon, a synod to begin a new cycle, yes. But that means also in that same amount of time, it's actually 29.53059 days, about 23 and a half days. The lunar phase to which you were born realigns. And for me right now, it's also the moon very close to the same stars where she was when I was born. I got to experience that this morning and really got to see the moon with my eyes at the horns of the bull where moon was when I was born, and now getting to see the moon's phase there before sunrise and now after sunrise. It's very educational, more experience of this disseminating Gemini moon reflecting Scorpio light to earthly eyes. Now, before we dive into an Earthstrology of the wHoly Trinity example here, and I mean to do these either here at my Instagram realm daily to just like stay in practice and also offer a transmission. I will say that I'm going to offer a transmission later today here at my YouTube page. It's going to be at 1:33 p.m. Pacific time. So if you have time and space, join me. I'm going to share a little bit of the sky that I recorded. Went outside this morning. I was drawn out by this super high out of bounds moon, and I'll just share a little bit with you from the lens of my camera of where Jupiter and Venus are now, the moon as she moves through the sacred hoop. And I talk a little bit about lunar returns and lunar nodes and that jam, but mostly I want to share and speak about Mercury and Mars, who in the sign of Scorpio, and especially when the sun is in Scorpio, as it is now, right? Right now we have a Scorpio sun, Mercury, Mars. Mercury and Mars keep their south nodes in the sign of Scorpio. So Mercury just crossed from north of the ecliptic, the plane of the earth and sun, matter and spirit, crossed north to south on October 27th, and Mars will cross, make Mars's southern crossing on November 6th. And I want to speak a bit about what planetary nodes are and do, why we associate them with past and future, like the astronomical root of why there's some truth to this. But I want to do that in such a way where I can show some pretty pictures and charts and animations and other things. So here at my YouTube page, 1:33 p.m. today, All Saints Day, November 1st, 2023, I'll be speaking a bit about these southern crossings of Mercury and Mars in the sign of Scorpio, and also as to why I feel this, perhaps more than most years, is really offering an opportunity for us to courageously connect with our ancestors and other beings of our past, like old habits we're trying to shake and shit like that. All right. So please meet me here at 1:33 p.m. Pacific time today, or you will find the recording of this later on if you'd like to review it when you can. All right, so here we are. Please, if you would, anyone who wants to play, write your sun, moon, and rising sign. If, and I know one of you here is, if you're born in the southern hemisphere, please also write south. So that might look like Aries Scorpio, Gemini, or Aries, Scorpio, Gemini, South. Okay, if you don't write South, I will assume you're born in the Northern Hemisphere. So I can just do any three and will, unless somebody would like to provide the fuel for our journey today by commenting here on this live stream, sun, moon, rising sign. And since I'm not seeing anything pop up, I just saw on my screen something pop up for 11:20 a.m. What a trip. I'm going to treat that as 11 and 2. All right. So I'm going to treat the 11 as Aquarius. And then I'm going to treat that 2 as Pisces. Well, you know what? I could treat the 2 as Taurus. And especially since one just showed up from one of our live contestants as Aquarius, Taurus, Leo. Let's do that, right? Why would I treat Aquarius 11? Because it's the 11th sign of the Aries design, the so-called natural zodiac. And I was going Pisces because Pisces is 2, the second of Aquarius, Aquarius, Pisces. But if we stayed in the kind of Aries map, then 11 would be Aquarius and 2 would be Taurus. And how wonderful that Jolly writes here, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo. And Jolly, I thought you were born in the Southern Hemisphere, but I might be confusing you with someone else. So would you please write also Northern Hemisphere or Southern Hemisphere? We could also do it for both. So I have Aquarius Sun, Taurus Moon, and a Leo rising sign. Northern Hemisphere, right. Ireland, yes? So far Northern Hemisphere, which is fun because I was confusing your call sign with New Zealand, far Southern Hemisphere. Okay, so here we are. Taurus, Aquarius Sun, Taurus Moon, Leo rising. Right, so before we get to the correspondences of this, right, the immeasurable, the qualities, though we can try, let's talk about the measurable, the quantities, the astronomy of the thing, the earth astronomy of the thing. I want you to put your feet on the ground and tell me how in Ireland Aquarius Sun is experienced. Oh my gosh, I would love to put my feet on the Ireland ground sometime and experience that truth. You know, interestingly, Aquarius, just the plate, the whole sign is what we call Antiscia, or some say Antiscia, Scorpio. Scorpio is just as far before I'll speak Northern Hemisphere, like Ireland, before the Capricorn solstice, as Aquarius is after the Capricorn solstice, right? But Scorpio, we say, belongs to the fall. Look around, fallen leaves, right? But also, very importantly, the sun is falling in the sky. That actually begins at summer solstice time, the height of the light, and then day by day, very slowly, the sun begins declining at midday. Shadow starts lengthening because the sun is lower and lower in the sky. Once you get to equinox time, autumnal equinox, that fall is happening quite rapidly. So fall is not only fallen leaves, but also the sun falling in the sky, okay? Until the depth, which in the longest shadow of the year at midday is the lowest sun, 0 Capricorn, for the Northern Hemisphere, like Ireland, yeah? And then the sun is born and begins his climb and is resurrected right at vernal equinox, right? When the daylight conquers the night. Aquarius, of course, is between these times of the sun's rebirth. So interestingly, like the Aquarian suns have the same altitude at midday as the Scorpio suns. The difference is Scorpio is on the way down and Aquarius is on the way up. And interestingly, and we see written here in Ireland, Sun in Aquarius, freezing, blue hands. Like, that's very descriptive. Like, freezing, we all think we know what that means, but then when you get blue hands, exclamation point, it's like, oh, that's a whole other level, right? A whole other level. And you know, amazingly, though the longest night, of course, is the solstice and the sun stops in that southern journey where the sun is furthest from Ireland, when at the Tropic of Capricorn, tropical Capricorn ingress, the sun starts moving back, right? Stops, turns around. Tropicos means turns around, and the sun starts moving north and starts getting closer to Ireland. It's still far away, but amazingly, though, you know, it's the longest night at the Capricorn ingress, we have this seasonal lag where it's still getting colder. And the way, as you know, we do seasons today, we have winter solstice, beginning winter, and then the winter signs for the northern hemisphere and the tropical zodiac, of course, are sun moving through Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. So Aquarius, fixed sign, when the nature of the season is fully fixed in. I mean, it's the most wintry essence, this seasonal lag. It's the coldest time, though the sun has begun his climb in the local sky, has begun coming closer to you after reaching the most distant place, the Tropic of Capricorn, you see. I mean, back in the day, and especially in Ireland, or so I'm told, you know, midwinter was the solstice, right? Just like Midsummer's Eve, yeah? You read your Shakespeare? Well, they told us Midsummer's Eve is the summer solstice, right? So it used to be summer is like Beltane to Lammas or Lugnasa, right? And from that place to Samhain is the autumn. And then from Samhain to, these days they say Imbolc, right? Sun at 15 Aquarius would kind of be an approximation. Or maybe February 1st is an approximation, but regardless, right, where you put the winter solstice right in the middle. All right, well, I digress. The point is, Aquarius sun in Ireland, it's fucking cold, y'all. And the sun is low, and the nights are long, and the days are short. So let's just put ourselves there, all right? And that's where sun sign astrology stops. And really, it does too much like seasonal transmission. Especially considering that, you know, that tropical zodiac and that remembrance or knowing was kind of born in Egypt, Greece, you know, maybe Babylon. I mean, Babylon, the Chaldean astrologers, like back in the day, they were figuring out a star-based zodiac based on the moon's travel through the stars and watching the planets and knowing that the sun, though we can never see the stars that the sun is aligned to, keeps close, right? That's the ecliptic, that's the heart of the zodiac. It's cool to see 11 and 2 on my screen right now as well. 11 people watching and only 2 likes. Let's shift that ratio, y'all. If you like do you like the video? Thanks, that helps. That's very greatly appreciated. Right, so where were we? You know, Ireland is going to experience the sun's travel through that 30 degrees of space that we call tropical Aquarius, which is southeast of Earth's center. Ireland will experience sun in Aquarius in a very different way, of course, than New Zealand would. I mean, in a sense, quite opposite. But what about Ireland versus Valencia, Spain? Morocco, you know? I mean, you can go much further south and stay northern hemisphere, where would still, in our kind of modern essence, call that winter, right? Winter in Ireland, something I've never experienced, and I'm not sure I'm ready to. I'm like California for too long at this point. Anyway, so let's not stop there. We had Aquarius sun, Taurus moon. And I guess even before I speak about how this Taurus moon is reflecting Aquarius light to our earthly eyes, let's put our feet on the ground. What is the ground? Where do you find the earth in an astrology chart? In a geocentric astrology chart. Oh, geo, earth, centric, center. The earth is the center of the chart, the center of earth, down beneath our feet, that place where we all connect. That's the center of the chart wheel. We measured the placements of the planets, like this Gemini moon that I'm looking at in the sky right now, not from the surface of the earth where we can witness these heavenly happenings, but rather from the center of the earth where we are all one. However, of course, it's the surface where we dwell and can witness the heavenly happenings and are likely born, yeah, in places like Ireland or California, where I currently drive. So I'm looking at a Gemini moon reflecting Scorpio sun to my earthly eyes, yeah? But where is the earth in the chart? So again, very importantly, the earth is the center of the chart, but your local earthly is the fucking ground. Yeah, part of my language. But I'm really trying to help us ground our astrology, not just have this in some mental place. Experience this. Be with the earth. And that Taurus moon will help. And we're speaking about a very earthly being who I'm honored to have had spent a little time with live. So let's put the ground beneath our feet. What is the rising sign? Right? First of all, through correspondences, I will say what was rising when you rose is rising within you. So Leo on the rise, you're here to learn Leo. And you're here to help Leo learn. Aquarius can help with this because it's the opposite side of the pole. Leo, let's just talk Ireland style, northern middle of summer. Lamas, Lugnasa, you know, name for Lug, like name for sun. And of course in astrology we say the sun is ruled by Leo, yeah? In the northern hemisphere it's the hottest time. Of course, it's the hottest time of the year when the sun is in Aquarius in the southern hemisphere, but let's stay in Ireland here. So that opposition, which doesn't necessarily mean opposite, it certainly does from like that seasonal point of view. The Leo and Aquarius, they share this thing called fixed sign. And while this native is born in the middle of the winter of the year, she's born at the beginning of the winter of the day. How do I know? And what is that? I'm sorry, she's born at the beginning of the autumn of the day. The sun of the day, the summer of the day would be when the sun reaches its height and then begins slowly falling to the crossing. Just as it is seasonally, the sun crosses the equator at equinox time. Sun crosses the horizon at sunrise, which is like spring, and sunset, which is like autumn, yes? So I don't know, without looking at specific degrees on the chart, if when Leo is rising, that Aquarius sun is above the ground or below. I'd have to know the degree of the sun, the degree of the descendant, which of course is opposite that of the ascendant, right? But generally speaking, we know that when Leo rises, Aquarius sets. And so an Aquarius sun being born with Leo on the rise is born at sunset. Yes. This beautiful time of the day. All right, well, where is that Taurus moon? And, you know, maybe so appropriate, like, no, that's not true at all. Thank you for the correction. No, when Leo is rising, Taurus already has, right? So Taurus is on high. Like Taurus is very near the midheaven when Leo is rising. Taurus is the 10th of Leo. Count them out, right? Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Aquarius. Sorry, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, right? Taurus is the 10th of Leo. Taurus is the 4th of Aquarius. The Aquarius is sun setting, and 4 signs away we have Taurus on high. Aquarius setting, Leo rising, and a Taurus moon reflecting that Leo light from a place quite high in the sky. So we hear from Jolly here that Jupiter is on her moon right now. Yeah. And so just witness well, first of all, very beautifully every month when Moon conjoins Jupiter at this time. We just had this. Like how high the Moon is when she reaches height, because this is something like your birth, right? There's this very high Moon in a spring sign. Now, unlike the sun, when the sun moves through signs, of course, the Moon is not changing the season. But the sun is high when it's in Taurus, because Taurus is high in the northern hemisphere sky. Not as high as Gemini or Cancer, but it's on the way up, right? Aries crosses, then Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Gemini brings us to the height, Cancer comes back down, right? So this is a very high spring sign Moon, yeah, reflecting that Aquarius light with Leo on the rise. You have this fixed cross in your holy Trinity, or the big three of sun, moon, rising sign. Yeah, Leo on the rise at Aquarius sunset. Yeah, right at that transition between day and night. And the further that sun sinks, the brighter and brighter that half moon, that waxing half moon. Yeah, and so where are we in the phases, the season of the moon's phases? And the answer is, I'd have to see degrees, all right? But right at that transition between winter and spring. Why? Winter is the least light. With the phases, that's new moon. That's like winter solstice, right? Summer solstice would be the full moon, the most light. And in between, which is the waxing half moon, it's spring. So we have a wintry sun, Aquarius, the middle of the winter time. The autumn of the day, the beginning of the autumn, sunset. And the moon in this spring zone, like vernal equinox. Do you see how this is? This helps us understand more about the temperament offered by this Holy Trinity. And I want you just to contemplate those things. But most importantly, I want you to walk outside, if you're brave enough to, in your coat, with your blue hands, hopefully in mittens, as the sun is setting in this middle of the winter Aquarian time. And you know it's going to be a long and dark night. But it's sometimes in those crisp winter nights when the stars shine most brightly. And even as the sun's setting in the southwest, you turn towards the south and see this high waxing half moon, this Taurus moon reflecting Aquarius light, this Taurus moon of groundedness, stillness, of beauty, reminding us that if we are willing to express the Aquarian spirit, which comes so alive in that winter time when there's nowhere to go because it's so cold, but inside, and you go within to get without, and the expansionness of the consciousness. But then you come back, says the Taurus moon, come back to earth, this square of earthly Taurus moon, body, mind, and Aquarius sun, mind, the body of the mind, you know, that says be still, contemplate. And the stimulants, if you want to know more about space, is to be with the earth, yes. And all of this to remind you of the beauty of life that you have incarnated, that like moon reflects sunlight to earth, soul reflects the light, the one light of spirit in a unique way that will never repeat. So you can come here with the privilege and the pleasures and the pain of this incarnational way to remember that you are a reflection of creation itself. You are creator. You can do anything you want to do. So roar, lion, and help the lions roar. by remembering that it is the beauty of Earth found through stillness that will allow those blue hands to turn fiery red. Thanks for spending some time with me, y'all. If you like the video, please like the video. You know, that will help me decide to keep doing these things. And again, I want to share some images with you so you can understand more about the importance of Mercury and Mars in Scorpio with the Sun at their respective south planetary nodes. So I can utilize the measurable astronomy to help justify which the correspondences the immeasurable suggest in me, just like the hooing owl in the pine tree all night last night, that the veil not only is thin, but we are in an opportunity to bring our will into a courageous space where we can actively communicate with our ancestors at this time. Perhaps even more, much more so than last year or next year will be. We're in a powerful window right now. All right. If we remember where we're coming from, we'll know a little bit more about where we're going. And if we can live in between, then we will unwrap the present of this present moment, the greatest gift. See you in space, y'all. All right, 1:33 p.m. Pacific time today, November 1st, 2023, All Saints Day. Join me right here at my YouTube channel for some time outside with the evening sky, well, the early morning night sky, and some charts and the like. If you like this video, please like it. If you know that you have some friends that might like it too, please share it around. Please subscribe to the channel so you will be notified when the live streams spontaneously happen. Please sign up for my email list, where if you are and have, then you will soon receive a invitation to come join me at 1:33 like you just did. And if you'd like to have a session and tune into the Earthstrology of your Holy Trinity and much more, the many notes of your song, please find me at GeminiBrett.com. Stephen the Jupiterian, Shauna Marie sings, you are quite welcome. Thank you so much for the present of your presence and for being here and spending some time with me. Oh, live in this kind of public space and also privately as well. All right, y'all. Here's to the ancestors. Here's to whatever the version of, or the descendants. Yeah. Ascending, descending, and all the things in between.